Hi guys, this is Kayla.
And this is Becky, and we're with A Couple of Bees Read.
And we also drink wine. Becky, what is our weekly wine?
Okay, I am not French, and nor have I ever taken French. Therefore, the name of the wine, I'm going to let you say.
Soleil Vent Amé.
Okay, it is a Chardonnay, and I know you love Chardonnay.
I do.
And I have not had this Chardonnay before. And remember, this is a Scout and Cellar clean crafted wine.
It's such a pretty color.
It is. It's beautiful.
Golden.
Mm-hmm. Very pretty.
Oh, it smells so good.
Wow, that may be the best one yet.
I think you're right.
It's very fresh. It's very crisp. You can taste a little bit of citrusy flavoring.
But not as much.
No.
I feel like some of the other Chardonnays we've had,
they've had even a lemony.
A lemony flavor. And
Right.
this,
it's citrusy,
but
very light.
Yeah.
Very, very light.
And it's even got that buttery kind of aftertaste.
Taste, right. And all of them don't. And some people don't like that, which the Dove Hunt Dog doesn't have that buttery aftertaste. And so I like it a lot. This is a totally different tasting Chardonnay though.
Yes. And it's got because I do agree, like some Chardonnays have too much of that buttery aftertaste,
right.
too much of that sweetness. This is perfectly balanced. Like
it has a little bit of pear. That's kind of that crisp fruit you're tasting.
That's the crisp flavor.
Yeah. And it goes well, of course, Chardonnay goes well with shellfish, poultry, cheeses, things like that. That's just a good Chardonnay. And
Looks
remember,
like sunshine in a glass.
Oh, it does. Sunshine in a glass. I like that.
Yes.
So if you want some sunshine in a glass, get you a bottle of Chardonnay.
100%.
All right.
Yes.
Yes. And I love it because it goes, to me, it goes along so well with the book that I read. Yes. Elin Hilderbrand's The 5-Star Weekend. I loved this book. This is right up my alley, and it really coincided with, I finished it the week before my girls came down for our yearly quilting beach retreat. And I'll talk about the quilt behind me. They made me this quilt and gifted it to me. And it was I love it, love it, love it. But the whole premise behind the 5-Star Weekend is that you invite your best friends from different phases of your life, like your high school best friend, your college best friend, like when you're young and you've had babies and your kids are growing up, you have those people, that one person. And I can think in my mind, I kept thinking, who would I invite? And I know who I would invite, from high school and those different phases. And then it goes, it's that, and then it's your current. Who is your person today? Well, I have 6 of those, so I would have to have a 7-star weekend, and it really would only consist of these ladies. If I wanted to expand, it would be like you, and I can think of a few other people, but I don't know, maybe we could have a 10-star weekend or something. But anyway, it was a lot of fun, and it really the main character is Hollis Shaw, and she has like a podcast blog about food, and it's she was born in Nantucket, and her mother died when she was a baby, and it was like the whole island of Nantucket felt like they had raised her. And then she went off to college, and she married this doctor and everything, and had a child. And then there's a tragedy that happens. She's kind of famous now. It's called Hungry with Hollis, and she just kind of took off. It was not something she really planned. It just kind of happened. And so then she ends up becoming a widow, and she ends up inviting someone, from her present that has to do with her podcast or blog and all that and everything, and it just has this huge twist in there, and you're like, oh my, oh my, Elin has done it again, and so it's just great. And I will be honest, I haven't read all of Elin's book, which now I'm very thankful for, because this is her second to last book. And she says she's going to write one more. This is book number 29, so I guess she wanted a nice even number. She says she's running out of material, but she's so that kind of makes me sad, but then I'm really glad I haven't read all of her books. I've read a lot of her books because I'll still have those to fall back on, but this by far is my favorite book of hers. I just loved it. Loved the characters. Now, there's one lady in here. If I could have gotten a hold of her, I think I would have pulled her bald headed. I mean, she was just terrible. I mean, she is one of those just biddies that, comes into your life and you're like, there is nothing good about you. I mean, what is wrong with you? Why are you trying to stir up so much trouble? And, I mean, she's just a terrible person. And you're like, good grief. But anyway, so that was kind of one character I was like, but I guess you could say she added spice to the story.
Yeah.
Anyway, even though you didn't like her or anything. And when y'all read it, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. So, but I love the characters and everything. And there's, somebody said, well, what's the big takeaway? Well, Elin herself said it is a celebration about friendships, women's friendships. But it's also, you realize that you change over time, from high school to college to young motherhood to career, and then becoming a grandmother and all these other things. It's just your life changes, your perspective changes, all kinds. And so it's interesting, what's the dynamic when you bring all these women together? Because the only common thread they have is the fact they know Hollis. So how do they interact together? And some of them are just your average wife, mother, and then you've got this big famous person that's ESPN spokesperson thing going on, and she's facing all kind of trials and tribulations, and just all kinds of stuff is going on. And but it is such again, Elin just wrote a fabulous novel, and it is by far my favorite that she's ever written. And I think it's like each time she writes, she gets better and better and better, and that's kind of hard to say because she's written 29 books, so I guess it's expected, but it is just a great book, and it definitely doesn't let you down at all. And again, I lead into my girls. We call ourselves the Sisters of the Cloth, and it's because we all came together because of quilting. Mm-hmm. And I do want to do a little segment on the quilt behind me because it is just so darn cute. And each one of us is represented, and they made me guess who was who on here. So it was really fun, but I got them all right because I guess we know each other so well. But I would say definitely pick up this book if you need a good beach read, or you need a good back porch read, or just sitting in your living room or whatever. Pick this book up and read it. You will not be disappointed. And get you a bottle of Chardonnay to go with it, because this is a great, great Chardonnay. And like Kayla said, sunshine in a glass, what could be better?
Absolutely. Bye, guys.